Vintage Doomsday is getting a little froggy. We're playing Psychic Frog and Tamiyo Inquisitive Student in our Thassa's Oracle Doomsday deck. Let's go check it out. I would like to start this video by thanking Hunter Sandlin for today's donation deck. Hunter is a member of the Combo Cabal tier, which is our top tier that gets you 1 hour of free coaching every single month, but on top of that, a free donation deck. Hunter wanted to see Vintage Doomsday with Psychic Frog, so that's what we're making happen here. So the idea is that if you're going to play Psychic Frog, you're probably not playing Street Wraith. Well, if you're not playing Street Wraith, there's only one card in the deck that stops you from running Lurrus of the Dream Den, which would be Necropotence, which isn't even that great right now in current vintage because it's a little bit slow. So instead of playing those 5 cards, we're playing Psychic Frog and Tamiyo Inquisitive Student to have a more fair and controlling game plan, so that way you can be a little bit more interactive. And by that I mean we have 4 copies of main deck Flusterstorm along with 2 main deck copies of Force of Negation. This is actually a little bit reminiscent of what I played at Eternal Weekend last year, where I was sideboarding into Murktide Regent. So instead of having the beatdown plan in the sideboard, we're doing it in the main deck. You are still the deck that plays Doomsday into a Thassa's Oracle. That hasn't changed. But instead of just being a linear combo deck, we now have the ability to create card advantage with Psychic Frog and Tamiyo Inquisitive Student to keep up with cards like Stock Up. So I think that this deck list makes quite a lot of sense, and thank you to Hunter Sandlin for submitting it to me today. Hopefully you enjoyed this vintage video. If you do, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think of having vintage here on the Epic Storm YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. I will see you in match number 1. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, cyborg guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like the epicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via the epicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. And here we go, match number 1. I've already revealed my combo cat, Lurrus of the Dream Den, and I've opened up a hand with Doomsday, which is great, but I also have Force of Will plus a spare blue card and Ancestral Recall. I mean, there's better hands that exist, but this is definitely a very good hand in Vintage. Our opponent leads on a Mox Pearl, Mox Emerald, 4 cards left. Urza's Saga, 3 cards remain. Trinisphere, you don't get that one. We will exile Ponder to the Force of Will. Okay. We draw Flusterstorm, probably not good against the deck playing Trinisphere. We will fetch, grab an Underground Sea. Let's play Ancestral Recall, target myself. Force of Negation, don't mind if I do. Let's look at their top card. Black Lotus, don't like that. So, the one good thing about this spot where they have a Black Lotus is that they have enough mana on the battlefield. So the Black Lotus isn't really doing a whole lot for them. So I can just try to counter whatever they play. And they play a Wasteland here. So if they have, like a One Ring, I could exile the Flusterstorm to Force of Negation and hit it that way. The Wasteland's a little bit of a pain in the butt because I wanted to play the Psychic Frog this turn. So they'll be able to make a construct. We draw Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. I think I'm just going to play the Undercity Sewers. I could play the Tamiyo. Ooh, black. That's a win next turn. I can Demonic Tutor for Black Lotus, play Gush, win. Okay. So they will make a construct. I suppose they could grab Vexing Bauble here with the Urza Saga, and that would stop me. When they do activate the Urza Saga, they tanked for a while there, like they weren't sure if they wanted to activate it. Seems like a pretty straightforward play to me. And they did grab Vexing Bauble. That was the fear. So I think I can't win this game anymore. So I go to 12. So if I play Psychic Frog, I'd have to discard my whole hand. I guess I can keep 1 card. And I could eat up a construct that way, but they also can't play another artifact. If they play another artifact, I have to discard my whole hand. Does my Psychic Frog get to blank 2 large construct tokens here? No, because they have a Soul Ring. That's annoying. And a Crucible of Worlds. Jeez Louise. What a draw. Yeah, they got me. Okay. We can go to game number 2. What would I like against shops? Maybe the Null Rod? Maybe more copies of Force of Negation. Flusterstorm is very bad, so we want to get rid of those. Maybe a Fatal Push or two. Shave one Mishra's Bauble. I mean, I could board out all of the baubles and then just bring in more Fatal Push, because I believe there are 4 Phyrexian Revoker deck. Could try this. Might be a little insane to have 4 Fatal Push in against shops. I could do 2 and then 2 Mindbreak Trap. Let's try this. And if I feel the need to bring in more Fatal Push, I can for game 3, assuming that I win game number 2. Reveal the Combo Cat. This hand is not playable. We'll send it back. This one's interesting. So if I get hit by a Wasteland, this hand is really bad, though. There's no force. I think you're supposed to go to 5. Like, this hand just... I could ponder looking for a land or a force, I suppose. I'm going to go to 5. I think it's just too risky. This is the best hand we've seen. Okay, so what's the game plan? So I think we keep, and then we'll put Force of Negation, Psychic Frog back. And then what I'd like to do, and I believe I can, is go Black Lotus for black, Dark Ritual, Demonic Tutor, Null Rod, Psychic Frog, go. If they have a Mindbreak Trap, I'm going to feel real bad. But you can't beat everything. So we'll play Black Lotus, Dark Ritual, Demonic Tutor. We'll go grab Null Rod, play the Null Rod, Psychic Frog, pass the turn. Is this good enough? They have Wasteland, little awkward. Goodbye Underground Sea. Discard the Doomsday, I don't need that. Get in for 2. Misty Rainforest, pass. Strip Mine, Soul Ring, sure. I'm going to keep the Fatal Push. Swing, we'll draw another card. Another frog. Wonderful. Bazooka Bog. Yeah, you got me. I could give my Psychic Frog flying, I suppose. Swing. I'll discard the Ponder to make my frog a little bit larger. Play Underground Sea. And I think I'd like to play the second Psychic Frog. Here we go. Pass the turn. Stone Coil Serpent. Well, I do have the Fatal Push. Goodbye. Discard a Tamiyo to the frog. Okay, so they have Stone Coils. I definitely want all 4 copies of Fatal Push. And I think this might be crazy, but is this a Tamiyo Inquisitive student matchup? Like, should I take that out of the deck? Or is it supposed to be things like Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise? We'll try this. Game number 3. We had a hand like this in game 1 and I lost, but I think this hand is good enough. We have Force of Will, Ancestral Recall, Psychic Frog. Like, there's a lot to like about this hand. Black Lotus. Urza Saga, Lodestone Golem. I will Force of Will. Exile the Tamiyo. Let's play Misty Rainforest, pass the turn. So I'm playing the Misty Rainforest to protect it from Strip Mine, so that way I can go end step, search out, Underground Sea, Ancestral Recall, and then play Psychic Frog. Ooh, they did not have another play. We'll grab Underground Sea, Ancestral Recall, target me. And we found another Force of Will. Things are looking good here. Dark Ritual. I believe that this is just a win. That said, I could play it slightly slower and just go get the... just like... So I don't lose to like double Mindbreak Trap. I could just play Psychic Frog here and then next turn win. I think that's better. Like, yeah, I had a Dark Ritual Doomsday Brainstorm win. It's just, is it worth it to potentially lose to like double Mindbreak? I don't know. I think it's probably safer to just play a little bit more conservatively. And they concede. Nice. We've got match number 1 with Frog Doomsday. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Round number 2, we're on the draw against the Bazaar of Baghdad Squeevine deck. I have Force of Will, I have Psychic Frog. This is not a good matchup for us, so I'm going to keep this hand because I have a Psychic Frog that I'm going to just try to win the game with, but I don't love my position. They're now on a mulligan to 5. They have not found Bazaar of Baghdad yet. They kept 5. There's Bazaar of Baghdad. They draw 2 and now they can discard 3. Blazing Rootwalla and Master of Death, along with a Fury. Fury could kill my Psychic Frog, so I'm glad to see that gone. And they still have 3 cards in their hand. Hollow 1. I think I have to Force of Will this one. Force of Will. They have 2 cards remaining. Come on, Mox Jet. Force of Will. We will pass the turn. Master of Death returns to their hand. They go to 19. They activate the Bazaar of Baghdad. Discards Vengevine and Master of Death and a Basking Rootwalla. 3 cards in hand. And another hollow one? Oh, you're killing me here. So now the Vengevine comes back? Okay. We'll go to the next one. My hand was not good enough. So we're no longer going to be a Lurrus deck. I'm going to bring in Leyline of the Void and Tabernacle. This is not a Force of Negation matchup, so that can get out of here. 63 cards currently. I do like Psychic Frog. Mental Misstep only hits like their Mental Misstep or like the Rootwalla's. Flusterstorm hits all of their counter magic, so I don't know if I want to get rid of that. I think it's supposed to be Treasure Cruise, Dig Through Time, Mental Misstep. Okay, submit. We are on the play. Keep. No Lurrus to be revealed this time. They do get a little bit of information out of me here because I did not reveal Lurrus of the Dream Den. They know that I've brought in Leyline of the Void. So they could try to mulligan to a hand that has Force of Vigor and then blow up the Leyline before I could have a blue land to Flusterstorm. There was a pause there, but I got my land onto the battlefield. They have Bazaar of Baghdad, and they're going to activate the Bazaar of Baghdad in the second main phase. Okay. They get rid of Serum Powder, Squee, and Master of Death. I will fetch. So they cannot Force a Vigor on their own turn, so it's pretty safe for me here to grab Undercity Sewers and Surveil. I don't really need a Time Walk. That can go to the graveyard. We draw Psychic Frog. I feel like that's a little risky to play out right now. Right now, the game is all about protecting my Leyline of the Void, so we want to hold open this Flusterstorm. And I don't want any of those, so we'll shuffle. Force of Will is good. And now they will Force a Vigor. I will fetch in response. Grab Underground Sea. Flusterstorm. No, you may not Force a Vigor. And they concede. Nice. We're off to game 3. No changes from me. Submit. In theory, you could try sideboarding out Dark Ritual for more blue cards. Like, you could leave in the Dig Through Time and the Treasure Cruise and that stuff. But I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Oh my. This hand is really weird because you have double Leyline, but Force of Vigor still blows up 2 Leylines. And then you have the Tabernacle, but you're lacking a blue mana to protect. But you have Flusterstorm, so if you draw an island, this hand is insane. And you have Vampire Tutor to go get blue mana. Against Better Judgment, I'm going to keep. They're on a mulligan to 4. I think I'm going to put both Leylines in play. They just went to 3. This is the downside of these decks, because if you don't find the Bazaar of Baghdad, you just mulligan into Oblivion. And I will put 2 copies of Leyline of the Void on the table. They have Bazaar of Baghdad, 2 cards in hand. And they're going to activate. So they will not be able to Force a Vigor. So they're saying I am all in on Hollow One, and I have the answer to Hollow One. Blazing Rootwalla, sure. Come on, Hollow One. We'll play Tabernacle and Mox Jet. And our opponent just conceded the match at the Tabernacle. Nice. Alright, we are now 2-0 in this vintage league. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Round number 3, we're on the play. How about that? Reveal our Lurrus of the Dream Den, and our opponent reveals theirs. We have a Lurrus of the Dream Den mirror match. Alright, no mana. Unfortunately, I cannot keep. This seems fine. Get rid of the Undercity Sewers. Play Misty Rainforest, pass. One thing I really like about Flusterstorm in this deck is, yeah, it protects your combo. It also protects your Psychic Frogs. So if your opponent has a Fatal Push or something, like, you're able to make sure your frog lives, and I like that quite a bit. Sewers, get rid of Dark Ritual. Doomsday. Alright, so I could try to jam the frog here. It pretty much only dies to Fatal Push. Let's try it. The frog resolves, that's good. They fetch with Flooded Strand. Great Tundra. So they're playing white, so Swords to Plowshares. Yep. Bummer. Underground Sea. We draw Force of Will. I will fetch. Grab Underground Sea. And I think I'm going to put Lurrus to my hand. Pass. Orcish Bowmasters. You've got it. And now they Brainstorm. They have another land. So if I had waited, I could have Flusterstorm protected my frog, but I didn't know that they were on... Like, they could have been on the most popular deck of the format, which is the Lurrus Paradoxical Outcome deck. Instead, they're just on Esper control. So I'll go to 16. Like, I don't regret playing the frog on turn 2. I think it was right. It just ended up not being great for me. And now they have their own Psychic Frog. That resolves. Mishra's Bauble. Let's play Lurrus. That resolves. I'll play the Bauble. Look at their top card. Another Swords to Plowshares. I'm just enabling all their creature removal. It does look a little embarrassing here. I will say that. So now I'll draw a card off the Bauble. And you might be wondering why I didn't use both. Well, then their Bowmaster triggers kill my Lurrus, and I don't want that to happen either. And now they're going to Swords to Plowshares. Goodbye, Lurrus. I'm back at 18. I don't know how I win this. I really don't. Because I think I'd have to draw like exactly Gush in order to win. I have like 2 draws to hit exactly Gush. They play a land. We'll Bauble them. Another frog. Okay. Gush, please. Ancestral Recall. Oh, that does it. So now I have double protected Doomsday win. So I would go to 6. Hold on. So I go to 6. Ancestral Recall brings me down to 3. I think this works. They let it resolve. Okay. We'll do Time Walk, Black Lotus, Oracle, Flusterstorm. I don't know. And another Flusterstorm. So if I Ancestral myself, my top 3 would be Oracle. Actually, no, it would be Time Walk, Lotus, Fluster, and then I'd untap and I'd play Oracle. So the bottom card doesn't really matter. Okay. So Flusterstorm goes on the bottom. Thassa's Oracle. No, maybe I should. I don't think it really matters, to be honest. But if I put Oracle as the next card down, it doesn't change anything. So I draw Oracle with 3 cards left in deck. Yeah, like my plan has to work in order to win. So let's just do it. All right, Ancestral Recall, target me. They have Mental Misstep. I will Force of Will, exiling Dig Through Time. If this is main deck Flusterstorm, I lose. It's Spell Pierce. Was not expecting that. So I will Flusterstorm. If they have Force of Will blue card as their last 2, I lose. 1, 2, 3 on Mental Misstep, and then the rest can be on Spell Pierce. So I'm dead to another piece of interaction. Alright, back to Ancestral Recall. Their last 2 cards were Force of Will blue card, and one of them was a Dress Down. Oh my. So their last 4 cards in hand were 3 pieces of interaction and a blue card. Yeah, you wanted it more than I did. That's for sure. Okay. We will bring in Fatal Push. This is not a very good Force of Negation matchup, so we'll get rid of those. And then maybe 2 copies of Dark Ritual, because this isn't really about speed. Submit. Their hand was so good. Wow. Okay, we are on the play for game number 2. I will keep Scalding Tarn. We will fetch. Play the Mishra's Bauble. Tamiyo, Inquisitive Student. Whoops, I meant to use the Bauble in their upkeep, but I clicked too fast. Black Lotus. Vexing Bauble. Okay. I will look at their top card. Spell Pierce. Okay, that's actually a good one to know about. Ideally, I would draw a land here, because a land would mean that I could transform my Tamiyo. Because the Bauble will draw a card on my upkeep, I'll draw a card for turn, and then the Clue would transform the Tamiyo. And they have an Orcish Bowmasters. Very good turn 1 for them. We draw Force of Will. Not a very good draw for us after the Vexing Bauble is resolved. And we did not draw the land. Things are not looking good for the home team. We will pass the turn. They have a Tundra. We'll block 2. Another Orcish Bowmasters. And I can't Force of Will it due to the Vexing Bauble. This Vexing Bauble is really wrecking me here. I think my opponent actually made a misplay because they could have dealt me an extra 1. And now we draw the land. Let's play the Time Walk. See if I can draw into a Psychic Frog. Looted Delta. I can make sure that my Dig Through Time resolves right now. While they don't have Spell Pierce open. Dig Through Time. I think we want the Fatal Push. Is it crazy to take Doomsday? I feel like it is against double Orcish Bowmasters. But the rest of the cards aren't very good. I think it's gotta be Doomsday. No, they play Urza's Saga. Unfortunate for me. Because I was like, oh, maybe I can slow Doomsday and win this. That isn't a possibility when they have an Urza's Saga. Let's Fatal Push a Bowmasters. So why I'm doing this in my main phase is they're not going to Spell Pierce when I have mana open, and then I can play another Tamiyo. So now the Urza's Saga goes to the second chapter, and they're just hitting all of their land drops. We'll block the Orcish Bowmasters, take 3 down to 8. Yeah, I think I could have stabilized this if they didn't have their 1 of Urza's Saga. Because it's restricted in Vintage. Time Walk. So I could Flusterstorm, but that doesn't do anything here because they can just pay for it. So I could Force of Will and then Flusterstorm, because the Force of Will would be countered, and then Flusterstorm would counter the Time Walk, but I don't know what good that actually does me. Yep. So what I find interesting about that is they gave up their ability to make a construct in order to play Time Walk. And now they make a construct. I just really need to draw a Psychic Frog. Block the Bowmasters, I go to 5. We know one of the cards in their hand is a Spell Pierce. Vampiric Tutor, that's not good enough. Or is it? So I block, let's say, the Orc Army. I kill the Construct, I take 1 down to 4. Vamp puts me to 2. But they can Spell Pierce the Vamp. And if I pass, I can't Flusterstorm the Spell Pierce on the Vampiric Tutor. Kill the Construct token because it grows if somehow they play out more artifacts. And now we'll try Vampiric Tutor. Let's see if they Spell Pierce it. They let it go. I will grab Psychic Frog. They fetch. If they go land, put Lurrus to hand, play Lurrus, I think we lose. Not this turn, just down the road. Treasure Cruise. So if I Force of Will, I go to 2. And then I can Spell Pierce. Play Frog. I block. I have to think through this. So I have to chump block. So if I Force Fluster, I have exactly Doomsday in hand. Yeah, I can't win if I do that. This has to resolve. And now I block the Orc Army. Going to 2. Play Psychic Frog. Pass the turn. No! Ah, bummer. Okay, they got me. We did not get match number 3. Esper Lurrus control is just too powerful. We are now 2-1. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. Another Lurrus mirror match here in match number 4. Keep. Not sure what they're playing, but maybe not Esper control. That would be nice. Basic Island, and they pass. Ancestral Recall. I will Force of Will, pitch, Ponder. They have backup for their Ancestral. Bummer. Okay, so now they're going to draw back up to 6. We will play our Demonic Tutor for our own copy of Ancestral Recall. Pass the turn. Mox Emerald, and they Brainstorm. Okay. Brainstorm resolves, they play Tolarian Academy, and now a Soul Ring. Yeah. 4 cards still in their hand. 4 mana for a Thunder Trap Trainer. So this is the Paradoxical outcome deck. They find Black Lotus off of the Thunder Trap Trainer. Oh my, I am getting buried here. They still have 3 cards in hand. Snapcaster Mage for Ancestral Recall? Come on. You're killing me. Wow. I'll save some time. We're not winning this one. We'll go to the next. Holy moly. I feel like I'm getting a little bit vintaged these last two matches. We want the Null Rod, board out the Mishra's Baubles, and maybe 2 Tamiyos. Like, I'll be honest, I am not super impressed with Tamiyo so far. It's what everyone else is playing, but it feels a little underpowered for Vintage, in my opinion. Game number 2 on the play. Reveal our Lurrus of the Dream Den. This seems like a fine hand. We will keep. Let's start off with a Gitaxian Probe. I will go to 18. Their hand is very good. They have a turn 1 stock up with Force of Will backup. Oh my. Underground Sea Pass. We drew the only land in the deck, by the way, that does not help cast Doomsday, which is kind of funny. That said, if I draw a Dark Ritual, we're looking at a turn 2 win here with backup, so I can't complain if we draw perfect. Flooded Strand, Mana Crypt, they play Soul Ring, and now they're fetching for a Tundra. Thunder Trap Trainer. I will Mindbreak Trap. Okay. Null Rod, that's a good one. But I can't protect it right now. But if they have 1 unknown, I think I'm supposed to just jam it. So, do they exile the stock up? Flame of Anor. So their last card in hand is stock up. I will pass. Stock up in Volcanic Island. And I think I'm going to exile the Flusterstorm to the Force of Negation because they have so much mana over here. So they have Volcanic Island and 1 unknown card, which is a Thundering Falls. Okay. They get rid of a Soul Guide Lantern. Vampiric Tutor. So I will Vampiric Tutor. What I'm thinking about here is just grabbing Ancestral Recall. So I could go get like Black Lotus or, you know, Dark Ritual. But I'd have to draw incredibly well to win. Like I'd have to gush into like Black Lotus Ancestral or like, I think it has to be like that. So I don't think that's that good. So I think maybe I'm better off just grabbing Ancestral Recall. And now we'll float a blue. We'll play Gush. Play the Ancestral Recall. Okay. So I think that this is a win. So I can go Black Lotus, Doomsday, Ponder back into Black Lotus. Doomsday, Thassa's Oracle, Black Lotus, Ancestral, put the Mox Sapphire in here, and Probe. So I would ponder into, hold on, does that not do what I want? I need to think through this. So I would go ponder, take Lotus, and then ponder again. So the Ancestral doesn't even do what I want. But if I put Probe in there, I think that does. So ponder would bring me down to 4 cards, ponder again would bring me down to 3, Probe would be 2, and then Oracle is a win. I mean, this makes sense to me. I guess I'll put a Force of Will in there. I don't think I need it, but... Alright, so I just clicked Force of Will to the bottom, Mox Sapphire underneath that, Thassa's Oracle, Gitaxian Probe, Black Lotus. Now I'll ponder. I guess we'll draw the Probe and then the Lotus. It doesn't really matter. Probe you, make sure that the last card in your hand is Volcanic Island. It is. We'll play Black Lotus. And now I can ponder. Take the Thassa's Oracle. And we win game number 2. A little bit of luck on my side there. Resubmit. Game 3, we're on the draw. The opponent has kept 7. I'm going to keep this. It's a little bit odd. So one weird thing about this deck list, there's only 1 Thassa's Oracle. That is what the Doomsday community has decided is what's correct for these, you know, Psychic Frog lists. But it means that I cannot exile it to the Force of Negation if I would like to Doomsday win. I think I'm going to let the Black Lotus go. Or should I Force of Negation? I think I'm going to let it go. We draw Vampiric Tutor. Okay, I think I'm going to ponder here. Underground Sea. Play Ponder. Shuffle this. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual is a little awkward here. They grab a Thundering Falls. They play Scalding Tarn, 5 cards left in their hand. They use the Black Lotus for 3 blue. I will attempt a Force of Negation, exile Treasure Cruise. They Pyroblast. So while the Storm count is 3, my opponent's only played 2 spells, so I cannot Mindbreak Trap anything here. The opponent, knowing that I had Mindbreak Trap to start off this game, hurt. And now they're fetching. They grab a Volcanic Island. We'll just untap and draw. And I am not drawing into mana. Our draws have actually been very bad. So I could go Dark Ritual Doomsday. It's just, what's the point? It's not good. And it's probably not even going to resolve. And step, I will Vampiric Tutor. The Ancestral Recall in response. Killing me here. Yeah. Grab Force of Will. I don't think I'm able to outgrind them here. Dark Ritual. Doomsday. They have Spell Pierce. Force of Will, exile the Psychic Frog. And they have another Pyroblast. Yeah. I mean, the last two matches we've lost, I felt like our opponent got ahead and then buried us with card advantage. And that seems to be the theme here. They still have 5 cards in their hand, with the mana advantage on the table. They play a Mox Ruby, Mishra's Bauble. They use the Bauble in themselves. We draw the land, but it's way too late. Pass the turn. I don't know how we get out of this. Okay, I'm going to pack it into Dig Through Time. I value my time on this planet. Like, we weren't already going to win, and now they get the best 2 cards out of their top 7. I've seen enough. So we're now 2-2. The deck is starting to slide a little bit, and it looks like maybe we're not set up enough for these Lurrus of the Dream Den mirrors. That's my initial thought. But let's see if we could just, win match number 5. The best Legacy podcast? That would be Eternal Glory, featuring myself, Bryant Cook, alongside Brian Cobalt and Phil Gallagher. We're available on all major podcast platforms and YouTube. The 5th and final round, we're on the draw another Lurrus of the Dream Den mirror. So we have a hand with Force of Negation, which I obviously like, and it looks like it might be the Esper control deck once again. Okay. Travails away a Scalding Tarn. They play a Mox Jet. Mox Opal. Okay, so this is the Paradoxical Outcome deck, the deck that we just lost to. Bluster Storm. I will Demonic Tutor here. And I think I'm going to grab Ancestral Recall. I have 2 ways to protect myself to untap, so I would like to see what I can do here. In my mind, I think I want to exile the Tamiyo Inquisitive Student to the Force of Negation, just because if I don't draw a blue mana source, I want to Time Walk and draw another, so that way I can try to protect this Ancestral Recall. They found Paradoxical Outcome off of the Thundertrap Trainer, and we did draw the blue land. I mean, in theory, I could try to... Let's do this. I'll play the Tamiyo, and then we'll Time Walk. See if this resolves. It does. So now we'll untap. I will attack and create a treasure. Swing, better, swing. And now I can Ancestral Recall myself. This will transform the Tamiyo. Plus the Tamiyo. And I feel like we're unlikely to lose from here. It's just protect the queen with the Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. They Time Walk. Sure. They play a Mishra's Bauble. This will enable Metalcraft for the Mox Opal. So now they're just 1 mana short of being able to play Paradoxical Outcome. I will Flusterstorm on the stock up. They use the Mishra's Bauble. I will fetch, grab an Underground Sea, and sacrifice the clue. No point in attacking because the Tamiyo still says until my next turn. So even though they took an additional turn, it just doesn't matter. So now they'll draw off the Bauble. We draw Mishra's Bauble, so I can return Ancestral Recall, and then we'll play out another Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. I talked so much trash about Tamiyo earlier in this video about how I don't think it should be in the deck, and now we're having the one round where it looks very good. I will Ancestral Recall again. So we'll transform, we'll keep the new one, plus this Tamiyo, play the Mishra's Bauble, bobble them. They're drawing a land. I guess we'll Vampiric Tutor. I'm not even sure what I would get here. Dig Through Time, I suppose. So now we'll draw off the Bauble. I knew that they drew Misty Rainforest, so they might as well play it. Mox Sapphire, so now they can play Paradoxical Outcome. I will Flusterstorm. They play the land. They have 3 cards remaining. We will fetch. This gets the last land out of the deck. We'll untap land. There's still the Surveil land in there. And I think I'm just going to win this game with Tamiyo. So let's Treasure Cruise. Exile Flusterstorm, Mishra's Bauble, Vampiric Tutor. Pay the blue. Probably get rid of Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. Draw 3. Play the Mox Sapphire. Play Ponder. I guess Psychic Frog kills them next turn if I play it. Alright, we'll keep the Psychic Frog. Actually, it's not next turn. It would be in 2 turns. So we'll pass. I don't even need to play out the Psychic Frog right now. because having the Psychic Frog available means I have an additional counter spell because I drew. If I had if one of these lands was a blue card, I would have played out the Psychic Frog. They play a stock up. I will hard cast a Force of Negation. They have 3 cards left. They fetch with Misty Rainforest and a Thundertrap Trainer. Sure. They find Merchant Scroll. End step, I will dig through time. We'll leave the Ancestral Recall. Take Doomsday and Ponder? Or Doomsday Flusterstorm? Okay. I guess I'm not going to win this game with Tamiyo, even though I could. Return the Ancestral Recall. Play Doomsday. Just put a Thassa's Oracle in there. I don't even think the other cards really matter all that much. Gitaxian Probe. Flusterstorm. And the opponent concedes. Okay. So that was a pretty good showing for Tamiyo. We'll bring in Force of Negation, Mindbreak Trap, and Null Rod. Last match I boarded out 2 Tamiyos. Let's try 2 Dark Rituals this time. We are on the draw. The opponent has kept 7, and I do not have a free counter spell in my hand. That said, this hand's very good, so I think I'm going to just keep it and hope that they respect free counter magic, and then we can get away with 1. They play a Mox Emerald, Tundra, Time Walk. Yep. Thundertrap Trainer. Okay. Force of Negation. They do not have a second land or any additional mana. Lead on the Mox Jet. And this might be incredibly risky. I think I'm just going to jam a turn 1 Psychic Frog. They didn't kill me. They're clearly respecting something, so let's just get ahead and play out the Psychic Frog. Force of Will, exile, Paradoxical Outcome. Sure. They have 3 cards in hand, and one of them is a Force of Negation. They play Underground Sea, stock up. Brutal. Now they have 4 cards. We'll take 1 here from the Thundertrap Trainer. It might seem crazy, but despite our opponent having Force Will in a stock up, I feel like I'm in the driver's seat here. Even before I drew the Force of Negation. So now I'll play my second Psychic Frog, and we'll pass. Ancestral Recall. I will Force of Negation, exile Tamiyo. They cycle a Lorien Revealed for a Volcanic Island. So I don't want to fetch, because if I fetch, they can Pyroblast my frog. And I don't want that to happen, so I'm just going to untap. Another frog, Ribbit Ribbit. We will swing, and before blocks, let's make our frog flying. So now I'll draw. We draw another land. Play another Psychic Frog. Pass the turn. They have 4 cards. Another stock up. So I will, in fact, Flusterstorm here. Underground Sea. Show them the Flusta. You gotta say it like you're from Boston. Flustastorm. Do you have your own? Or are you gonna Force of Will my Flusterstorm? They will. Force of Will. I mean, that's fine. They're just trading 2 for 2 now. Like, I think that's a good exchange. So they have 3 cards in hand. They play a Mox Opal that's not active. Okay. Another Doomsday. So I'm pretty sure I have a win here. I can play my land, Doomsday, discard Doomsday to one of the frogs, give one of the frogs flying. I guess that I don't even have to do that, because one of them will get through no matter what. But I think that this is my best chance. Or is this too risky to discard a Doomsday when I don't need to? I think it's too risky. I'll just play Doomsday. And it looks like they're F6, so they're dead. I'll just do a Gush Pile. And they conceded. Okay, so Psychic Frog plus Tamiyo win match number 5. We got the 3-2. So Tamiyo got its chance to shine after I wasn't impressed with it moving forward, or previously in the league. We lost to the Paradoxical Outcome deck where they drew fairly well. Losses happen. And then the Esper Lurrus Control deck where it felt like they had a lot of interaction. I don't know if there's a real way to fix that. We're already playing 4 Flusterstorm and 2 Force of Negation in the main deck. The only other thing you could do is some people play a Duress in the main deck. You could do that, but they play it over the 4th Flusterstorm. And I think Flusterstorm is better against all the stock-up decks. So I think the only cards I did not love in this league were Mishra's Bauble, which it's just like a low-impact card. Like, yeah, it's fine with your Lurrus of the Dream Den, but ultimately it's a little stinky. It does enable Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time pretty quickly, which I do like. And then Tamiyo was okay. Like, I don't want to pretend that it was amazing, but it was fine. So I'd want to play Tamiyo a little bit more before I came to a final verdict on whether or not it's playable in Doomsday. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'd be interested in your feedback. So if I didn't play Tamiyo, I would play the second Thassa's Oracle, I would play Demonic Consultation, and I'd probably play the One of Days that some people play. You could also just cut the Mishra's Baubles and then add those cards in as well. So if you like the Tamiyos, you could do that, or you could play 2 Tamiyo, 1 Bauble, and then add in Days, the second Oracle, and the Demonic Consultation. So those are packages you're allowed to do. When I was sent a deck list, it did not have the second Oracle or Demonic Consultation, so that's why I'm not playing it today. And speaking of which, thank you again to Hunter Sandlin for the donation deck. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Hunter, his favorite deck in every format is Doomsday, so I'm sure he does. But, you know, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and maybe you learned a thing or two. I really liked the sideboard. I think that's something looking at the sideboard, it is perfect to me. I wouldn't change a single card. I just think that there's 6 cards in the main deck between Mishra's Baubles and Tamiyos that you could adjust to be a second Oracle or Demonic Consultation or Days. I'm not even sure if you want those things, but they're things to consider. And that's all I've got for today. So hopefully you enjoyed it, but I've already said that already, so I'm just going to end the video now. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Keep storming. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're interested, you can visit theepicstorm.com/donation decks to see your combo deck here on this very YouTube channel. You can even join me in a video in the Epic tier. It's totally worth it, I promise. And see ya. Thanks for watching.